World of Tankers, welcome to the channel. I'm your host, Droodles Blitz, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about some changes that are happening in the next update of the game to certain maps like Winter Malinovka, Dead Rail, and Canal. We're also going to be talking about changes to the matchmaker which have already occurred, and everything else you need to know for the next upcoming update. So as always, if you enjoy this type of content and you want to see more in the future, make sure to smash that subscribe button down below. Now let's start off with the first simple thing, and that is the fact Wargaming has actually changed the matchmaker. In the latest update of the game, they have made it so that you can no longer get matches where one team has a medium and the other team doesn't. I have gotten very irritated in the past and actually made videos on this where I would play a battle and, I'd be in a heavier tank destroyer, and the enemy team would get a light tank, and we wouldn't get any mediums or lights, and their light tank would just completely dominate the one flank of the map, flank, spot, and ruin your entire game. And then I've also made examples of when I was the only light tank and I had the opportunity to flank and farm and literally ruin an enemy team's game. It's BS. It should have been fixed a while ago, but it seems like Wargaming is finally listening to the community and doing things that we want. And this is something that's really nice to see. And not only that, but it seems in the next update, 11.16, they are planning to roll out a bunch of changes to 3 maps. Now, Wargaming, listen. There needs to be more changes than just these 3 maps. Castilla and Mines, for example, have a lot of issues which I'd love to talk about getting fixed. Middleburg is arguably one of the worst designed maps in the game due to the hill and how it screws heavy tanks over. There's a lot of maps which need a lot of redesigning. New Bay needs spawn changes. Port Bay needs spawn changes and overall redesigned issues that need to be fixed. So I would love to sit down with Wargaming devs or whoever is behind this initiative and talk about all the issues with the different maps that I would love to see changed. I remember years ago when Fatness was talking, for those of you who don't know who Fatness is, he was a very skilled player on the NA server and a comp player as well, and I remember he brought up to Wargaming directly that Port Bay had spawn issues, and they still haven't done anything about it. And it really is a bit disappointing when you have some of the best players in the game who are being completely ignored. So I'm hoping that in the future, Wargaming will listen more to the player base and more to the community on what's going on. But with that being said, Winter Malinovka is one of the first maps we'll talk about. The elevation of the mill has been raised and additional positions have been added around it. The supremacy point near the mill has been moved closer to it. On the heavy flank, new TD positions have been added while old ones have been changed. The buildings in the town have been thinned out, new positions and routes have appeared. The central point in supremacy mode has been moved closer to the mill. I think they already said that. The layout of positions on the third line of the heavy tank flank has been changed. Okay. Vegetation has been added. Spotting points on the hills in the field area have been weakened. Okay, that's actually nice. Firing lines from the slopes leading to the frozen lake have been balanced. I don't know what that means, but we'll see. The layout of objects in spawn zones have been revised. Spawns of both teams have been regrouped, and the travel timing to keep points have been adjusted. A large amount of gameplay and non-gameplay vegetation has been added. So we can see pictures here of the map and what exactly has changed. Now, first of all, this hill here seems like it's going to be a really good tank destroyer position. We can clearly see that there's bushes here, and I have a feeling you're going to be able to work this position and overlook a lot of the map. Doesn't look like the other side of the map. Well, maybe this hill here, though. I don't know. We'll have to see, but it definitely looks like there's been a lot of changes. They've definitely redesigned this. Is this Winter Malinovka? It is. Okay, so this isn't just base Malinovka. Definitely seems like Wargaming has revised this map a lot. As we can see, the hill now climbs all the way up here, when it previously didn't used to do that. So definitely a lot of big changes to this map. We can see another picture here of the spawn. Not much really looks like it's changed there. So we can see the TD hill. Looks like it still exists. It's kind of hard to see it from this picture here. Unless, I think that's actually this here. I think that's the hill we're looking at. So it's definitely changed position, and we can see how this does climb up a bit more than previously. But in general, the map still looks pretty similar. I do like the fact that the windmill is higher elevation than it previously was. This is a much larger gap in the center here, and it's higher up, which means that tanks are going to be able to go further in this back corner here, and they're not going to be shot when trying to cross. I think that's actually really nice, and we'll have to see what happens there. We can see the medium side over here. Looks like the hills might be a little bit less elevated, and apart from that, it's hard to see exactly what else has changed, but overall, looks good. Then we have Dead Rail. I think we can all agree Dead Rail is one of the worst balanced maps in the game. So let's see what they've done to Dead Rail. The low ground on the heavy flank has been lowered by 2 to 3 meters to make it safer from TDs. Big dub. Indestructible covers have been added at the exits from the heavy tank zone. We'll have to see what that exactly means. Firing lines from TD positions along the map border red line on the heavy flank have been rebalanced. I'm hoping that means lowered. Additional TD positions have been added in the corners of the medium tank's flank, okay? The size of the main cover in the center of the medium flank has been increased. That's good. The slopes leading to the medium tank hill have been made gentler to compensate for vehicles with poor gun depression. That's really good. Thank you. Spawn points for both teams in encounter and supremacy have been rebalanced. Central capture points in supremacy as well. Flag and encounter battle have been moved closer to the field, and a large amount of gameplay vegetation has been added. So we can see some of the pictures here. This is the heavy flank, and it's kind of hard to see what they've changed, but yeah, let's look at some other pictures. It's really hard to see what's changed on this one. This picture here, we can definitely see more TD positions have been added. We got a bush over here and a rock, which wasn't there before, and then we kind of had the same spot that was over there. So it looks like they added like one extra position here. Kind of hard to see exactly what changed in the middle area. Let's see. Looks like they may have just increased the size of this a little bit, but overall, the medium flank looks very similar to what it did in the past. On the heavy flank, let's see. So they've definitely increased the size of these walls here, or should I say lowered the position. I'm hoping what that means is that the TD, they didn't really show us the TD hill at all, which is a bit of a bummer. I can maybe see it like over there, but in general, it's pretty impossible to see the TD positions from here. They still look pretty high up, but I'm hoping that with the changes Wargaming has made, putting your tank in these corners over here and working the hill here will no longer put you in a spot where you're going to get obliterated by tank destroyers. We'll have to see if that's the case or not, but in general, it seems like good changes for Dead Rail. Finally, that brings us to Canal. Canal, invisible walls have been removed from the hills, but kept on the dam to ensure map remains suitable for fun modes. Nice. The layout of cover along the heavy tank route toward the quarry has been revised. Okay, good. The heavy flank definitely needs more cover, and that's something I've actually talked about. Vegetation, nobody cares. On the medium flank, the arrangement of bushes on the second and third lines have been revised. A large amount of gameplay, vegetation, spawn positions have been adjusted. Okay, so we can see here that this all looks the same. I wish they would have like shown us before and after pictures so we could see what they've changed, but this here looks pretty similar. I don't notice any changes there. This here I also don't necessarily notice any changes on. Maybe that rock wasn't there before, but in general, it looks pretty similar. This picture hasn't loaded. Interesting. Okay. This still looks the same as well. Yeah, I don't know. I don't see many changes to Canal. They haven't really shown us the heavy tank positions that appear to have gotten better. I don't know. None of these pictures actually show changes to me. Let me know in the chat if I missed something, but most of these pictures look pretty similar. This is the one we didn't see. Was this rock always over here? I don't remember. I don't remember at all. But, yeah, I don't know. It looks like this area here is still a big problem. The biggest problem I've had with this map is that tanks from over here on this hill are able to cross and then shoot you over here in the areas here. So if they haven't actually changed anything there, then I don't really know exactly what they've done. But I'll have to take a look. It would be nice if Wargaming gave me some footage so I could see exactly what has changed. With that being said, we have some other information to break into very quickly. The Felice, which is the Italian Tier 10 auto-reloading super heavy, is confirmed to be the next tank in Tier 10 released, and it's going to be the Black Friday tank. It's going to cost probably $200 to $300, so if you don't have that kind of money lying around, yeah, probably don't waste your time or money on it. We also have the, we have the Christmas tank confirmed, which is the GSOR 1008. For those of you that don't know what it is, it's a Tier 10 British heavy that features 12 degrees of gun depression and 3,650 DPM. We'll have to see what happens there. But you should also remember that the game is also being rebalanced at the same time, I would assume. So we're getting a lot of changes that are coming into the game. I'm really hoping that more changes happen to more maps and Wargaming listens to the player base, but at the end of the day, we'll have to see. Hopefully all of you enjoyed today's video, and as always, if you did, make sure to smash that subscribe button. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.